At 19, he slept on a park bench with his backpack clutched to his chest like a life raft. Everything he owned fit inside it: 2 shirts, a notebook, a cracked phone that only worked when plugged into a power bank, and a photo of his mother taken years before life fell apart. Most people walking past him never noticed. To them, he was just another homeless kid, another cautionary tale they didn't want to look at too closely. But to him, that bench was the lowest point of his life, and somehow, deep beneath the hunger and exhaustion, it was also where a quiet decision formed. He promised himself that this would not be the end of his story. His childhood had not prepared him for stability. He grew up in a home where money disappeared faster than it arrived and arguments filled the space where security should have been. When his mother passed away during his final year of high school, the fragile structure of his life collapsed completely. His father drifted away, unable to handle the grief, and relatives who once offered help slowly stopped answering calls. College plans vanished overnight. At 19, with no savings and nowhere to go, he found himself on the street, learning very quickly how invisible a person can become when they have nothing to offer the world but need. Homelessness stripped life down to its raw essentials. Every day became a calculation of food, safety, and time. He learned which shelters were full by sunset, which restaurants threw away food that was still edible, and which public libraries allowed him to sit quietly for hours without being questioned. It was in those libraries that something changed. Surrounded by books and free internet, he started reading obsessively. Business biographies, personal finance guides, marketing blogs, and psychology articles became his escape. While others slept or scrolled, he studied. Knowledge was the one thing no one could take from him, and he treated it like currency. His first opportunity came from a broken phone and a desperate need to survive. Using public Wi-Fi, he taught himself basic graphic design through free tutorials. At first, his designs were terrible, but he kept improving, sending samples to anyone who would look. After dozens of rejections, one small online client offered him $10 for a logo. It wasn't much, but it was proof that someone valued his skills. That $10 turned into $50, then $100. He reinvested every cent, upgrading tools, learning more, and slowly building a reputation. Within a year, he was making enough to rent a small room. It wasn't luxury, but it was a door that locked, a bed that was his, and a future that no longer felt impossible. With stability came ambition. He realized that one income stream was fragile, so he began experimenting. His second business grew out of frustration. He noticed how many small business owners struggled with online presence, so he created affordable website packages. He handled everything himself at first: sales, design, customer service. The workload was brutal, but it taught him discipline. Long nights replaced long days on park benches, and exhaustion now felt purposeful. When the business became profitable, he hired his first contractor. That moment, sending money to someone else for work he created, felt surreal. The third business was born from failure. He invested savings into a physical product idea that completely flopped. Inventory sat unsold, and for a moment, fear crept back in. Instead of quitting, he analyzed what went wrong. He learned about branding, customer research, and supply chains. He pivoted, rebranded, and relaunched with a new product aimed at a clearer audience. This time, it worked. The lesson stayed with him: failure wasn't proof of incompetence, it was data. Every mistake sharpened his instincts and made him harder to break. As his income grew, so did his sense of responsibility. He started a fourth business focused on education, creating online courses for people who wanted to learn digital skills without expensive degrees. He remembered how overwhelming the internet felt when he was starting with nothing. His courses were practical, honest, and affordable. Testimonials poured in from people who landed jobs, paid off debt, or escaped situations that once trapped them. Success stopped being just about money, it became about impact. For the first time, he felt like his pain had a purpose. The fifth business was the most personal. He invested in affordable housing projects, partnering with local organizations to provide transitional homes for young people facing homelessness. Standing in those buildings, he often thought about the 19-year-old version of himself, cold and uncertain, wondering if life would ever change. Now, he was part of that change. He didn't see himself as a savior, just someone who refused to forget where he came from. Ownership, to him, wasn't about control or status. It was about building systems that gave others a chance to stand back up. Today, when people see him, they see a successful entrepreneur, a man who owns 5 businesses and speaks confidently about growth and strategy. They don't see the nights he went to sleep hungry or the mornings he woke up unsure if he would make it through the day. But he remembers. Every decision he makes carries the weight of those years. His story isn't about overnight success or luck. It's about persistence when quitting would have been easier, about learning when no one was teaching, and about choosing hope when circumstances offered none. He was homeless at 19, but he refused to let that define him. Instead, he built a life that proved beginnings do not decide endings.